Hey, how's it going? Welcome to the Denver Skate Museum. Squeaks here. It's a beautiful day out, sunny Colorado. Come on in. Hey, before we head downstairs, got something I thought I'd show you guys real quick. Custom built this hearth, put in like 24 different skateboards. This is all recycled skateboard here. This is hickory, and then this is walnut. But did a custom recycled skateboard hearth. Welcome to the Denver Skate Museum. So we start out here in the null staircase. And so everything that we have in this staircase is null. Um, and so we've got these ones in chronological order. And so this is the oldest board that I have now. They have older boards, but I wasn't collecting the whole time. But so this is the oldest, and then it's chronologically newer as we go down the stairs this way, and then we come back up on this side, and then we come down and chronologically go down. That way, you know, Knoll's a great company in Boulder. I grew up skating Knoll boards. Glenn, who owns Knoll, is like one of the older skate dudes around town. And, dude, they're sick. They skate super good. I've been skating Knoll boards for like 15 years and just love it so much. And Rob Helmstetter, who does the graphics for a large number of their boards. Also one of the older guys when I was growing up, and so really looked up to these guys. And so when I started seeing all the amazing stuff that they were doing, I quickly realized I needed to hold on to these amazing pieces of art. So while this is not a board in the Knoll staircase, this one is still a Rob Helmstetter graphic, and it is just super sick. Shows the Front Range from Denver up to Wyoming, but with skate spots put in there, and it's just super sick. I love that one. So as you come into the museum, really the first kind of big thing you see after the Knoll staircase is this awesome anti-hero series. This is the 4 hipster horsemen of the apocalypse, and so this guy's got a vape pen. This guy's got the baby with the organic kale juice. This guy's got a selfie stick. He's taking a selfie, and this guy's got GPS maps out. Pretty funny set. I thought that would be a good one to kind of open up the museum with. So let's head over to the trucks. Here we got the truck collection. I guess let's start at the top. We got just some kind of kooky trucks. Then this shelf is Thunders, Aces, Indies, more Indies. Getting into some older trucks, some ACS trucks, some tracker hangers, California Slalom. Then we get into some Ventures, some classic, these are some classic 90s Ventures, some Royals, some Crux. What do we got? Some Destructos. Yeah, some good trucks. All right. 1997 World Semifinalist. First real contest I ever skated in. Dropped in, got immediately super smoked, and had to like get up and skate through the pain. Anyway, good memories. Fans Warped Tour 97. All right, we got some of the more older like shaped boards right here. Some classics, the Tom Knox, the Nadas, Gabriel Rodriguez, Lance Mountain. I mean, we got some good ones right here. And then we come over, we got the Iron Maiden Zero collaboration series. That's a good one. And then we move down here into, this is our Meta section. Meta was like the shop I grew up skating for, and you know, just really changed skateboarding for me. So this is my like Meta section. Let's take a trip down memory lane. Let's go back to say the early 60s, and start to take a look at what skateboarding might have been like for you. Can you imagine trying to bomb a hill on these metal wheels rattling around? Woo-wee. Anyway, then by the late 60s, they started cleaning it up a little bit, but still pretty scary, I can only imagine. Then, instead of metal wheels, they went with clay wheels. These ones are pretty sick. Then they started getting into urethane wheels and fiberglass boards. And so these are some fiberglass boards. This guy's a classic. This is a GNS Fiberflex. This guy's got Sims wheels and Bennett trucks. They're the Bennett Pros. Pretty sweet trucks. Then we get into some aluminum boards. Aluminum boards are pretty wild. We got some more over here. Look at this bonsai aluminum board. Can you imagine getting a shark bite in the ankle with this thing? Dude, it might take your whole foot off. Then we got some of these like plastic guys. These things are pretty fun. Love a good freeformer. Awesome old board. Now we got some Nodus boards, stuff from Santa Monica Airlines through Santa Cruz. We got these are some reissues of some old Sims boards, some classic stuff, some Powell, just some classic boards, some cab graphics, Chapman, Lassick. And then we've got wheels. So, this is how I roll. Couple of wheels. Some good ones, man. Some old Vision wheels. The Vision Blur 2s. Some Rat Bones. Some good stuff. A lot of old Spitfires. Some Cryptos. Some Sims. Just some good old-fashioned wheels. And wall of girls. Girls have always been a huge part of skateboard artwork. And so here's some classic girly boards. Alright, well that was the wall of girls. Let's head over to right here underneath the stairs. Over here we're keeping it real classy under the stairs. Saving up with Jesus and hanging out with our first lady. Real classy, Melania. Underneath the stairs we got, starting with Toy Machine up here, going down into Shorties. Same thing on this wall, Toy Machine going down into Shorties. And over here we've got some great 80s boards, some Veriflex starting up here, coming down into this sort of no-name board. It's got some Veriflex parts on it, but I'm not really sure. We got some Nash stuff, a Volterra. One of my favorite boards, the Back to the Future. One of my earliest influences into skateboarding. Just some great old boards here. Over here we have a magazine and book collection, and so we've got some Thrashers, some books, some more books, different assorted magazines. We got more Thrashers. We've got some of the earlier, at least in my collection, Transworld, some of the early 90s. Here at the museum, sometimes we run out of space for stuff, and so you'll just sometimes see things just jammed into places. Nice Porce Walker card. Stir hard. Growing up, I loved magazines. Also loved skate videos. Here's some of the skate video collection. 411s. VHS. Some DVDs. A lot of good stuff here. I'm trying to remember what my first skate video was. Maybe Fulfill the Dream. That might have been first skate video. Welcome to Hell, maybe. Something in there. Down here we have some skate shoes, some vintage XLs, some Stevie Williams, some other DCs. Down here, I just got all these for woodworking. I do a lot of woodwork stuff with skateboards, and so I keep these and end up doing some woodworking projects, something like maybe like a hatchet or something like that. Weren't the 80s fun? Yeah, we got some good boards here. This one's pretty similar to the first board that I had. This is as close as I've ever come to my first board, but still on the hunt for it. I've never actually found it. Got some good Nash boards. This one's a Chicago. This is a good one. So they did everything. Chicago truck, Chicago crushing bones, wheels. Looking pretty sick. All right. Definitely something that we'll be talking about in a future episode is going to be kook boards, of which there are some amazing ones right here. Just check out this Thrasher board. What is that? What even's going on there? And then this cheesy dinosaur guy. What kind of shoes is he wearing? Like, whoa, what's even going on here? Craziness. Anyway, watch out for that episode on kook boards. If you're from Denver, you certainly know about 303. So this is my section of 303 boards. They make a great board. Down here we've got another great local company, Name and Blood. Then just working our way down the wall, we've got just kind of some random boards and some fun shaped boards. I've always loved the water cooler and the 40 ounce classic boards. Yeah. 98% board. Another Rob Helmstetter graphic. That's a good one. Then we work our way over here. We're getting into some real. Then we move into anti-hero. These ones are all great. Todd Francis does great graphics. And then that brings us back to the Hipster Horseman. And just some other assorted boards. This is a classic. Sean Cliver graphic. Sean Cliver and Todd Bratchard did a joint graphic. This is what they came up with. Pretty fun stuff. All right, over here we've got a original signed Jim Phillips screen print Screaming Hand. We've got a Jim Thiebaud Hanging Klansman. That one's a classic. Some more boards. I've always loved this this Creature Gravette board. That one's pretty sick. And then over here we get into the Star Wars collection, and so we've got some just fun kooky Star Wars stuff. I'm from the 80s. I love the Star Wars movies, so couldn't pass these ones up.
All right, so you just took us through this huge tour of this museum. I mean, and we'll have future episodes to kind of explain a little bit more that we didn't get to tap into. But I have a good question. Why? Give us a story behind the why of doing this.
Well, the main thing that I really wanted to do was just be able to showcase and teach other people about some of the history of skateboarding, because for me, when I learned about different parts of the history of skateboarding, every time I learned something, it just opened this world of skateboarding that I love so much. It just opened it up even more. It made it bigger. And so every time I learn, and still every time I learn something new, it's just like opening up a little bit more space
right
in that skateboarding world that just has been so amazing for me.
Yeah.
Been such a wonderful journey, such a life-changing thing for me, that to have that just grow and become more was hugely important for me. And so to be able to try to display something and show that to somebody else and give that growth to somebody else, open up their world, I mean, that's the dream.
Kind of like in the beginning with you, how influential it was. So
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, because, like, growing up in Boulder, in the, like, starting skating in the 90s, the, like, older dudes at the park really influenced the way that I viewed skateboarding and the guys at the skate shop. And back then it was Brothers Boards. And so, like, all those dudes, the way they talked about skateboarding and the way that I saw them
Right.
portray skateboarding and, like, all that kind of stuff, and, like, the videos that they told me to, like, watch and whatnot, all that hugely influenced what I thought about skateboarding, learning all these new things. And for then, at that point, it wasn't learning old stuff. It was just, like, learning what's skateboarding even about.
Right. Right.
And that was initially falling in love with what was going on in skateboarding in that time period in the mid 90s. But pretty quickly, like, starting to learn a little bit about the history and whatnot, and just every time I learn something, it just, like, blows my mind.
Right.
How much awesome, crazy shit has happened in skateboarding.
Yep.
And that's also a big part of the museum for me, is that, like, it helps me learn about skateboarding to put together something like this, and for me to be able to think about, how do you organize something like this? How do you put this together? How do you categorize, and what time frames are on this? And so, like, going through all this stuff, I've learned so much more about skateboarding than, if I wouldn't have done something like this.
So do you think that the perception of someone, like, let's say, however old you were at the time, that all those early influencers that influenced you on skateboarding, do you think the perception of someone around that age nowadays would have maybe the same, appreciation for what you've done in here?
Not all the young kids have a super good appreciation for it, but the thing that I find is that the ones that if you just show it to, as many kids as you can, the ones who it's going to be important to will get stoked.
Right, law of attraction.
The ones who need to see it will get stoked.
Yep.
And so, some people don't get as stoked about the history until later. Everybody's kind of on their journey.
Yeah.
And so for me, it's just really, like, anybody who wants to take a look at this stuff and see about the history and, let their mind wander down skateboarding history.
Right.
Like, which on their own path is awesome. Because, any of that stuff, and there's so much stuff here that it's hard to take it all in at once.
Right.
And so, like, realistically, you're only going to see some number of things that speak to each person.
Yep.
And that they will then, maybe think about later.
Absolutely.
But that's the thing, is, like, there's so many cool things that you can try to think about, like, different eras of skateboarding, and not just what the physical skateboards were looking like, but, like, what the sport was doing at the time, and what the art direction was like at that time, and, like, what, there's so many crazy eras of skating. Yeah, so much crazy shit, man.
It's good.
Skateboarding's so nuts.
Yeah, and you're right about that. There is, like, evolutions, if you will, of skateboarding throughout all those time periods, and there's bits and pieces throughout those time periods that, let's say, those early influencers for you, that, they may still be in the skateboard world or realm. I think some of those early influencers would probably tap back into those times, that when they were a kid and they started looking at stuff from their age when they started skateboarding, what attracted them as well, to where then they can look at, some of the newer stuff that you have.
Yeah.
And I just think it's a great wide variety, even for people inside skateboarding and outside skateboarding.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the people that have come over that have really enjoyed it, not everybody's a skateboarder. You don't have to be a skateboarder to enjoy something like this.
Right.
And so, yeah, for me, just if I can stoke somebody out, that's really what I want to do.
That's the overall goal.
Yeah, just
That's
get
great.
people stoked on skateboarding. I mean, anybody who's fallen in love with skateboarding knows how amazing it is, and so for me, it's just like trying to share that love with anybody who wants to check it out.
Yeah, that's great.
So that's sort of the spur of starting the museum in a nutshell.
Right. And so where do you see this going?
Well, so right now, it's tough because we've got this virus going on, and it's inside the house, and so it's tough because it's not like we want to just have strangers coming over to the house all the time,
right?
And also with the virus, it's hard to know, and we don't want to have a lot of people over here in such a small space,
right?
But right now we've got an online presence on Instagram, and so that's pretty rad.
Okay.
Just trying to share some stuff that way. Would love to continue doing this sort of video. What a vlog? Is that what they call that?
Yeah, I don't know the new terms.
But whatever, doing some stuff that way and getting to share something that way. So at this point, it's more of a online presence.
Okay.
But just trying to share as much as we can and get people stoked, and at some point would love to get this into its own space that's out in the community that could be, a much easier space for people to come visit.
Yeah.
And it'd be also just nice if we could, organize it in a cool way. I don't know.
Yeah, it kind of how you have it now. I think that's a good vision. Well, good. Well, thanks for having me come by today. This is great stuff, and I look forward to future endeavors about maybe tapping into some of these different items that you got here.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of deep dives that we could do here on different stuff at the museum. Looking forward to doing that in the future for sure. Dude, Scott, thank you so much for coming by today. This has been so much fun. I'm so glad that we got to do a quick tour of this place and show you sort of what we got going on here.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to the next episodes.
Yeah.
Really looking forward to, the next episode, maybe we could tap into a little bit more of skateboard history. Maybe, and one of mine that really got into influencing me into skateboarding big time is videos, hence why I love making skateboard videos. So maybe next episode we can tap into videos a little bit more.
Here's what I think, dude. And I know I'm sort of putting you on the spot here, but I say fuck it, let's just do it, dude. I want you to choose what episode 2 is a deep dive in.
Okay.
Right now.
Right now?
Yeah, you've taken a tour, you've seen all the sites. I want you to tell me what's the first thing that we're going to really dive into, and then we're going to, make the episode, and we'll be back for episode 2 on what you just choose right now.
Okay, right now?
Yeah.
Signature series. I want to hear some stories about, not only stories, but then I want to see some of these boards. Al has a tremendous amount of signatures, and I think that would be a great next episode.
Okay, John Hancock series.
Yes, John Hancock series. Look forward to that one.
All right, episode 2, signature stuff. So, look forward to having you guys back. We'll see you next time.
Later.